In a world wrought with struggle and strife, a world rich with beauty and grandeur, a world where peril lies around every corner, a world of casting and honing. One group steps up to share the perspective of the masses in this, the World of Warcraft. We are Ponecast, the voice of the players.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Welcome back. You are listening and or watching Ponecast. This is episode 55, and we are in patch 6.1.2. I am your Warlock host, Belle. We are without Frieza, sadly. He was here, and then a blizzard happened in the middle of Denver, and he's not here anymore. So we did have
Frostmage who can't handle a blizzard.
I know. So I did bring the rest of the Riders of Rohan with me. I did bring the Death Knight who dinged, well, I mean, he pretty much dinged fucking old today, in real life.
Wow. Wow, that is harsh.
It is Lycan's birthday, so let's all wish him a huge happy year old as fuck birthday.
It is.
Happy year old as fuck birthday.
I'm 25. Again.
How many years of experience?
13, but we're not counting.
What did you get good gifts this year?
I did. My son, he's 4 years old. I almost said 5 years old, but he's 4 years old and thought that this was the best gift that he could get to Dad. He's been playing with it all day, but it is awesome. So I finally got my Optimus Prime I've always wanted when I was a kid.
What a good boy.
What's cool is that's the original Optimus, which makes it even better.
It is. It is. None of that newfangled retcon
fancy
crap.
Stuff. Yeah,
right.
That's all bad. So you're you're really old. I just want to make sure that you are aware of how old you are.
And I am very aware of that. Thank you so much for reminding me.
You are now your own rep relic in game.
Wow.
I was going to ask how it felt when you met Moses for the first time, but I thought maybe that was taking it too far.
Is he cool? Is he nice?
How about those shoes?
Does he have a bit?
I was going to thank you for the birthday gift that you gave me in game, but we're going to go ahead and skip over it.
Does he have a bigger beard than you have?
So much wind today. The jokes are going to be flying pretty much the entire episode because it's too good to pass up. It's rare when we get to make fun of people for their age, and they made fun of me when it was my birthday in January, so now I'm just getting them back. But I did also bring the rogue who tried to use Vanish to evade his old roommate and terribly failed. Hots.
Oh yeah. So a really good friend of mine moved in, not so good roommate. So come to find out, the same time that I'll be moving to Arizona, my roommate is going to be moving to Arizona. Completely unplanned. Do what?
You'll be roommates again.
No.
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 Yeah, so that's a thing. So much fun.
That was pretty awkward, though. Hots had told me earlier the way that it broke down. It's the way that the situation broke down, and the roommate was like, "Well, no way, me too." And
yeah, like, on the outside, I'm like, "Yeah." On the outside, or the inside, I'm,
The good news is where you're moving to in Arizona is a good distance from where he's moving, so hopefully you won't have gas money to come and stalk you. We are glad that you are here. We did also bring in Frieza's stead the paladin who bopped an ice block dark.
Yes, it happened yesterday, and I felt like a dumbass. But I mean, in my defense,
is there a defense?
He said his ice block was on cooldown. So
who is that, Miss Wendy?
Yes, Miss Wendy. Aaron, my boy. He's like, I still have 2 seconds. So I bopped, but there was a delay in the bop, and he hit his ice block. So you see ice, and then the little purple wings over ice, and I was like, damn it. It was the last one.
To be fair, there is no defense for that because all the defenses were used at the same time.
Well,
so
cooldown, apparently.
Well, at least you knew he was covered no matter what, so I guess that's...
Yeah, but the thing was, it was my last bop. So I bopped his ice block, and I died.
Dark is giving classes on how to paladin, so if you're interested in having him teach you how to be a proper paladin in arenas, he's the man to see.
Go the other way. Take the other avenue.
To not him. We
Never
do
played
have quite a bit on the agenda as far as not a lot of news, but just a lot of information that we're getting the closer to 6.2. I am going to cover for Belle's Bites the Shipyard. I did attempt to go to PTR and get the firsthand vision of it, and it's all kind of messed up. I'm not even going to talk about the PTR experience, but that's coming later on. We do have an excellent lore section with Lycan today, and then Hots is introducing a new hardcore casual segment that he's going to be doing on a weekly basis. So let's jump right in. So all this Mystic Runesaber, we got all hyped up. Everybody was amped. This big, beautiful purple mount. We were ready to go. Let's buy some shit. Nowhere to be seen. Literally. Data mined for months. Didn't see it. It's finally coming May 13th to the online store. It is $25 USD to buy that beautiful mount. Now, MMO Champion has it data mined as a ground mount. Obviously, in Draenor, it's going to be a ground mount. However, all the animations do show the wings, and typically with the online store mounts, they usually are flying mounts as well. So even though MMO Champion is showing it as a ground mount only, I'm only to assume that it's going to be flyable in all the other parts, with the exception of the Draenor expansion stuff. So $25, that's the average price. Not bad. It's so pretty for a Warlock.
Would look great on a DK or a Shadow Priest out of a
Yeah, anything really.
Somebody's birthday was today, and I didn't get anything from you.
Mine's in 13 days after it releases, so...
Also, huge news, and I know that Lycan listens to their quarterly call for Blizzard every quarter, as it were. I don't listen to all that stuff because my eyes glaze over when corporate people start talking all this blah, 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 blah. I don't care about all that. But World of Warcraft is down to 7.2 million subscribers as of quarter one in this year. It's a drop of 2.9 million subscribers as of the Warlords launch in November of 2014. We did do the math pre-show, and it was $105 million at 7.1 million subscribers is still what they're getting from the $14 a month times 7.1 million. I think it's around there. It's in the $100 million range. Still not doing too shabby. Like, and when you listen to, did they have any kind of, I mean, we already know why the loss in subscriptions happened, but
no. Well, they of course, when you're talking to the investors, and that's what these conversations are. I mean, everybody knows what the inner goings are. These are, let's put our good faces in front of the investors to make sure that they keep their calm. And they've chalked it up to, okay, the expansion hit. This is the lull after the expansion. Now, this is, in my memory, would probably be the biggest drop in subscriber this shortly after an expansion dropped, but it's not unheard of. I mean, we could go and say they drop another expansion in November, we could be jumping right back up to 10 million subscribers.
Well, I think we attributed that to people being bored. They thought, right. Just to a lot of people, the expansion was not what they thought it was going to be. I do find that a little bit difficult because I don't have any issues with the expansion. I don't have one problem with it. I still love the content. I'm finding things on my main that are less and less to do, but I have a million alts with different professions, different challenges, different achievements that they need. I mean, I haven't run out of anything. Garrisons have gotten a little bit annoying, but I haven't run out of a reason to log in. So I guess I don't.
I'm wondering, too, how many of this is, okay, they did a big push right before the expansion dropped. Buy Warlords of Draenor, get a free instant 90, see what the world's like, right. Come back to it. How many of this is new customers that have come into it and say, you know what, this is not for me.
Exactly.
They tried it. And how many is this of returning customers say, you know what, I'm still not interested in the game. We still have 7.1 million is not something to scoff about. It's a deep
really.
Right. It's a deep group to have.
That's a good point because we all saw Blizzard's marketing strategy with the taxi cab in New York in the middle of the street with the axe crushing it. They've never done anything like that before, so they probably did bring a crap load of new people that were interested and then just decided, like you said, it wasn't for them.
And I always hear a lot of people always say, they always say, WoW is dead, WoW sucks, WoW this, WoW that. All these things that they complain about all these different things. And I mean, this is just the nature with any game really that's being played. Not everybody sticks it out. They might try it out, test it out, see how it's doing. They might find that they like it. They might find that they don't. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean WoW's doing bad because they only have 7.1 million subscriptions. That is 7.1 million people.
Right.
Across the world that are playing a video game. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. To everybody else that's not a gamer, it's a freaking video game. That's amazing to me.
And also look at this, too. At the beginning, between, what was it, January 1st to March something, the IPs that had dropped in that. You had H1Z1 come out. You've had other games out there that have found GTA hit it hard. You've had a lot of other games that have flooded the market in the first half of this year already. And some people may have just taken a step back. Let's say, you know what? Let's see what's going to go on. Hey, this H1Z1, which is being failed miserably by Sony, it's now Daybreak, but they're coming out saying, you know what? It's filled with bugs. Everybody's leaving that and coming back to it. That actually dropped at the end of February or beginning of February. So it could be taking in the fact that people are moving to other games to see what they're like before they come back to WoW.
And steady isn't always gonna win the race here. These guys push certain things at certain parts of the quarter specifically for their investors. Everything that anybody does in any kind of business like that, it's what it's for. They're in the business of making money. So I'm sure they still have their 2-ply toilet paper. I'm sure all is well. It
may not be scented anymore.
Well, it's not going to be lavender scented, that's for sure.
That's behind us now, please.
One of our writers for the PDQ, which is Dan the Paladin, he did cover the changes to some Jewelcrafting stuff coming in 6.2. Epic gems. Now, some of the stuff was a little bit frustrating for me to even understand that that's even going to be a thing. So gems are going to be plus 75 for the secondary stats, which is great because they're currently 50, and then it's 25 for the smaller tier. But what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to acquire these right away. It's not as simple as going and getting to the trader and getting the recipe. What's going to happen is you're going to get at your Jewelcrafting little hut in your garrison, you're going to get the first quest that'll take you through this short quest line. Once you've completed that quest line, you're only going to be able to craft one of these new gems, which is the Immaculate Versatility Talidite. Does grant the 75 versatility. The other gems, you're going to have to push through content in 6.2 to acquire these. The Critical Strike Talidite, you got to collect the gem cutter module, which requires you doing Hellfire Citadel instances. It gets better. They haven't decided if they're going to let it be LFR. Like, they don't really know if if it's going to drop on all difficulties. Obviously, it'll be LFR, but they don't know if they're going to allow it to drop in normal, mythic, in heroic, and all that. So that's just for the Critical Strike one. Oh, it gets better. The Haste Talidite will require you to collect the Immaculate Haste Talidite, which drops from Mythic Skyreach. So they're forcing you to do the new raid, and they're forcing you to do a Mythic Dungeon, which is genius, absolutely genius, to push people into doing this new content that they've developed. The Mastery Talidite, you have to collect the Gem Cutter module, which is sold by Paul North for Horde, and Quackenbush in Brawler's Guild for 800 gold. But you can only buy it once you've reached rank 6 in Brawler's Guild. Blizzard's like a giant troll. This is great for those that use it. I don't ever do Brawler's Guild, and I'm a Jewelcrafter, so I guess I have no choice. The Multi-Strike will require you to... it's sold by the Arakoa vendor that's in Stormshield or Warspear, and that's for 3,000 gold and 3,000 Apexis. No limitations on that. Doesn't say you have to be exalted with anything. Just says that it's being sold as of this moment. Nothing's data mined for any specific requirements. The stamina will require you to kill one of the world bosses to be able to do that. So with the other ones, that's pretty genius. They're forcing you into Hellfire, and they're forcing you into a Mythic Dungeon. They're basically saying if you're a Jewelcrafter, you have no damn choice but to go in there and get what you need, which is kind of crappy. But
can I make two more comments here? One, of course, they're going to pander to the Paladins, which is all they do is versatility. So once they've got their gems, they're fine. But this is what they wanted to do at the beginning. Didn't they want to do this at the beginning of Warlords of Draenor and make the gems and the enchants the gems and the enchants and stuff like that to be more difficult to grab. It wasn't going to be like you're going to go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and train this and then be able to use it. It was going to be more sparingly, and I think it's brilliant. I really like the idea. I think they ought to do some of the stuff with the new enchants. Bring new enchants, make the enchanters do the same thing.
Oh, if they don't, Jewelcrafters are going to throw a hissy fit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I'm back and forth on it. I like the idea of it because they're bringing back a lot of the old school feel of you had to grind to get what you want.
My Jewelcrafter doesn't do anything, though. She just sits there. I don't raid with her. She's going to have a really rough time going through this content.
It's one of those things where they want, like, let's look at BC. Like, you had to hit Honored with certain things, which required you to do dungeons to hit Honored in order to get certain gear that you needed for raiding, or to even start off with raiding. So this is starting to bring back, like, an old nostalgic feel. But at the same time, it's not required, and the chances of you actually needing that plus 75 gem are slim to none.
How about getting Crusader back in vanilla? When you had that enchant, and you had to farm for the righteous orbs, and to get the enchant was rough anyway.
Here's what it will do. What it will do is you will be able to craft these and sell these, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So this will make it where Jewelcrafters can actually make some money.
Oh, yeah.
So I do appreciate that.
Jewelcrafters do make money now, but it'll be more rewarding for those who want to get out and grind it, and the people who are, like, if they don't make it for LFR, even if they make it for LFR.
Agreed.
The guilds that are going to go in and clear as much as they can in the new raid coming out before LFR even comes out, the Jewelcrafters in there will have a better chance of making money.
Dark's eyes are glazing over because he hates
I'm excited about it because Jewelcrafting got boring.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Because in MOP, I had to farm ore and, what was it called? I had to break up the ore to get
prospecting.
Certain gems.
I like that.
That made it fun. Just the mining and then prospecting it. Like, you never knew what you were going to get. Now, you stay in your garrison, like you guys said. The leather workers get to go out and hunt and skin stuff and then come back. I go to my little mining area and then I come back and that's all I do. So I like it. Not that I'll do LFR and stuff, but, I mean, it makes it better for the Jewelcrafters.
I agree.
Collect your work orders and do your daily cooldowns, and that's all you really got to do. And same thing for tailoring.
Yeah.
Tailoring's the same way anymore.
So that was what was new there. Your Garrison Town Hall is getting 2 new vendors. You're getting the Trader Arianda. Perhaps I'm chopping up the name. It is what it is. Get used to it. And Trader Darak. These traders are going to sell Draenic armor sets and weaponry sets that are sold. They're going to be sold. I'm pretty sure it's 500, and I'm pretty sure that it's sold for garrison resources, where you're going to be able to instantly raise the item level of your followers to 645. So if you're acquiring new followers and you don't want to go through all the process of slowly raising them up via the tokens, you can instantly buy those to help you, especially when you're doing alts. So it's going to be extremely awesome for you to be able to go in there and buy that. They're also going to sell the Rock Tusk Battle Boar, which is sold for 10,000 gold, and Witherhide Cliff Stomper, which is sold for 20,000 gold. These are mounts. They'll be purchasable in your garrison, and you can also purchase the Battle Pet Crusher, which is sold for 1,000 gold, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty legit.
Well, we know who's excited about that one.
Right. On the new mounts, everybody's making a big deal out of these new mounts that they have, and I'm going to give you the list of what they have. Please understand, folks, these are reskins. All they did was do what they always do every single time is they reskin, changed the color on a few things, added a freaking bow tie to one, and boom, you're done. What I do like is they're allowing you to get a Gronling from a mission, which is pretty cool. If you have not been able to camp, pound fist, whatever the reasons are, you can get a groundling from your missions. It's a 12-hour mission, takes 3 followers. It'll just be one of those things that pops up randomly with the patch. But I appreciate that they're giving you an opportunity for people that aren't good at camping and all that thing. The Gore Strider Groundling, which you do get from being the Glory of the Draenor Raider, just like all the other previous expansions for that raid tier content. Wild Gladiator's Fellblood Groundling, Warmongering Gladiator's Fellblood Gronling and Primal Gladiator's Fellblood Gronling are all from hitting Gladiator in Warlords for the second season for PvP. The Coal Fist Gronling is going to be the one that you get from the Garrison mission. All these Gronlings are just a little different in version. The Fell obviously looks like it's got the Fell skin coloring and all that, but I mean, really, it's whatever. Who am I here to judge? Give me my free mount. It's cool. I just need to get so I can have that fancy 250 mount one or whatever. So, I mean, it's there for your use if you guys are interested in the mounts. But they are, keep in mind, they're just reskins. It's nothing fancy. They haven't changed anything. I'd like to see them. I mean, we can't really bitch because it's a reskin off Draenor. They really did bring new mounts in Draenor, so I can't really complain. I'm just annoyed that they keep just giving us the same crap content.
Before the expansion, I forget what episode it was, but we read off the colors that they planned on doing for the Gromlin. And I think there was a total of 5 colors, but they only released the one. So this is just them catching up on what they promised.
To be honest with you, I'm more excited about the pet than anything else, and not for the obvious reason.
Well, they've redone all the icons. They're in the process of making all those icons more detailed. Like I've seen a bunch of little food icons where it actually kind of looks like what it's supposed to be. I mean, they're doing a lot more detail work as far as visuals are concerned.
But with this Crusher thing, I don't know if you guys ever the story behind it is that there's a mother on Twitter that said one of her 7-year-old son wanted to be a developer for Blizzard, and drew a picture, actually dressed up as one for Future Day at school, and drew a picture of what he thought this pet should look like, and the WoW developers picked up on it and made the pet and implemented it in a game for him.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's a really neat story, and it has a picture of him holding up his concept art. So I'm excited for.
Did they pay him?
No.
Blizzard doesn't pay people for that kind of stuff. They just take your idea. So that's pretty much the week that we had for news-related items. We do have some segments to get to, but not a whole lot of stuff. We're just kind of waiting and biding the time. We are doing the Road to BlizzCon, which has included a lot of workouts on my part because I need to be fit because the road to BlizzCon is paved with beautiful people and I want to make sure I'm one of them. It's been a little bit rough, but we are going. The second batch of tickets to the Blizzard dinner is going to be going on sale on the 16th. We'll make sure that we will post it on the page. So that's it for the news portion. I'm going to go ahead and jump into Belle's Bites so we can knock out the segments and do the weeks in WoW and make fun of Lycan for being old s'more because that just never gets old. It is his birthday. We have to. I mean, he's been loved all day by his wife and his children, and all of his family have doted gifts and love and texts and all this stuff, and now he gets the real fun, which is the fuckery from the friends and the trolling for his age. So, Belle's Bites. Shipyard breakdown. Sadly, I went into PTR, did the quest to acquire the shipyard, run all the way back to my garrison, run outside where your shipyard is supposed to be docked, and it went into a cutscene, completely shut down the whole thing, and I can't, every time I open it, it shuts it down. There's some type of cutscene error with the clip. I'd put in a bug report waiting for them to fix their crap. There's a long list of people that are having the same issue. So I didn't actually get to see what the thing looked like in my own visual instead of looking at pictures. But the shipyard, what happens is when you log in, this will be immediately when 6.2 is released. You log in, you go into your garrison. For Alliance, King Rin sitting in your garrison. Why are you in my garrison? Did you bring me coffee? Did you bring me tacos? Why are you just chilling in my town hall? Minding my business instead of your own.
Like you're a king.
Right. Like, how dare you? I'm the king of this here boat. So he's sitting in there and he's giving you this quest. This quest is going to send you, you're supposed to be able to take the flight path from your garrison over to the Iron Docks because it's its own flight path because it takes you actually around. If anybody's actually went to Tanan Jungle now and kind of swam around like we might have done a few times, it takes you to that dock. So you can't just go to the normal Iron Docks flight path. You have to take the separate one. That was also broken in PTR. So I got on my horse and I went all the way around on the water just to get to the freaking NPC to start the quest. Nice little thing. I'm not going to give anything away. Nice little couple quests that you do. You can do them with other people if you want to kind of hurry it along. Really, really nice. Made a lot of sense. I'm not going to go into anything because I don't want to do any spoilers for anybody that wants to experience that content. So what happens after you do these series of these quests is then you then go back to your garrison. Here's the great news. This shipyard doesn't take anything away from your garrison whatsoever. It doesn't put anything in your garrison. It doesn't take any room away. If you guys remember, now it's different for Alliance than it is, so I'm speaking from an Alliance perspective. If you remember with the Alliance, you went up to the top of Shadow Moon Valley to start your very beginning stuff, and there was a big boat, and then there's all kinds of stuff inside. That's where the interface is going to be for the shipyard, is going to be that boat. So now we see that boat actually had a purpose.
I figured it would at some point. They're not just going to put a big boat here for nothing.
Yeah, so it actually did have a purpose. So, but here's the cool thing. Inside your garrison, there's now an exit right there. There's an exit for you to easily go to that path up Shadow Moon Valley. Now, in Frostfire, wherever your beginning quests are in Frostfire as a horde, it's going to be in that same direction. So it doesn't take up anything through your garrison as far as that goes, which I was kind of sad about because it would have been kind of pretty cool to have like a marina in your garrison and have like your own big ass warship, and you're like, that's right. But apparently they didn't find that as amazing as I did.
I kind of feel like the horde should kind of get zeppelins. That's
so
right.
So for Alliance, for Alliance, we didn't have an exit. It's actually going to be right by the pet menagerie. They just put, a nice little frame cut out, and you just go through that. Horde isn't going to change because Horde's always had a little exit, apparently, by wherever they're going.
Horde always uses their back doors, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, So, I didn't actually get to see what it looks like. Kind of annoying. We did talk about garrison resources are not going to be using... The purpose of your ship, obviously, is to take you on these missions to go to the 7 areas that I outlined a few episodes ago. But you're not going to be using garrison resources on this one. You're actually going to be farming oil. And that oil, obviously, is to fuel your ship. I mean, you don't got to be a rocket surgeon to know that that's what that's for. But I do need to say that the parts that I was able to see before PTR took a huge crap on me were beautiful. They really, really did. They really did do a good job with Tanan. So I know you guys have probably seen screenshots. I'm trying to stay away from too much in PTR because I don't want to ruin the experience, but if you've seen screenshots, it doesn't do it any justice. They really did a great job with visuals. They really did a good job with everything inside Tanan Jungle. So shipyards, I'm thinking, are going to be pretty cool. I think all the different options that it's going to have you give is just because you can get so many things. Gear, mounts, pets, there's so many things you're going to be able to get with these naval missions that I think I'm hoping it'll bring a little bit less monotony to the garrison thing. Because what do we get now for garrison missions? I don't know about you guys, but I probably have about 20 missions of XP that I can't use because all my followers are maxed, and then a couple random fun stuff. So that's all I really had for Belle's Bites. I wanted to make sure that you guys had that broke down. Next week, I'm actually going to break down. I'm going to be going into PTR and checking out the Time Walker events, and I'm going to check that out and give you guys some firsthand of what that's like, to let you know what's going on with that. So that'll be next week for Belle's Bites. No spoilers, of course. I try not to spoil things for people. With that, Lycan has lure you in with lore that is pretty epic on who is controlling Killrogg. I promise we won't interrupt.
Mm-hmm. I have no problem giving out spoilers, so if you have not gotten to this point and you really care not to know what's going on, you might want to go ahead and just wait until I'm done talking. So, orcs, that's all we've been dealing with for the last, expansion and a half now. But what we're going to get into is specifically the orcs that are there. We have several different types of orcs, and we're not going to go into the individual clans. I don't want to go into the individual, who's the leaders, but more of the sub-races of orcs that there are. For most of you who know, obviously, now that we've seen the expansion with Warlords of Draenor, orcs are of a brown skin nature. That's what their natural skin color looks like. And if you remember during BC, where we found Garrosh originally, we found him with the Maghar. Now, the Maghar had actually went ahead and secluded themselves away from the rest of the orc clans, and they were uncorrupted and untainted by the fell energy. So they remained the original color. So we follow that, and we see the whole dichotomy between, why Garrosh was mad at Grommash, his own father, his real father, because of all the green, and made himself turn green and stuff like that. but there are actually at least 2 more subsets of orcs that really go unspoken. The first of the 2 is fell orcs. Now, if you remember the fell orcs, we mapped them, actually, I believe it was the Shattered Walkway going through Hellfire Peninsula. It was all the dark red orcs that you see down there. They were under the control of Magtheridon. Now, with Magtheridon, they drank demon blood. That demon blood gave them a permanent bloodlust. They were crazed. They wanted to kill everything in their way. And it was just because of the fell energy that actually got inside them. We actually see in, I believe it is one of the Hellfire Peninsula instances where we have something called the Maker. Now, the Maker is this corrupt, it kind of reminds you of something that should be out of Naxxramas, but it was the first boss in there, and basically what his job was to inject orcs with the blood to make them crazed. That's the one set. Now, we get into Warlords of Draenor, we meet another type of orc, which is called the Pale Orcs. Now, you may see these in Heimal, whenever you fight all those Pale Orcs and those orc kind of grayish-looking creatures that are around. There are actually orcs, and there's a couple speculation on where they actually came from. One of the most prominent, quote-unquote, theories that is out there right now is that at a certain point of their life, an orc that is going to become a shaman needs to go to the Throne of the Elements that is in the Grand. It's actually in both Outland and in WOD, so we get to see experience with both. But they commune with the elements at that point. They have to be ready and willing to be able to commune with the elements, and I hope I'm not boring you, but
I'm just by Rockstar as it kicked in.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. But so they commune with the elements. If they're not ready, they get void touched. Basically, as they're on this spiritual journey, their spirit leaves their body, and they're meditating, never makes its return trip. So all you have left is this orc, the shell of an orc with a crazed mind that wants nothing but destruction. And you can see it kind of reminds you of Gollum. You can actually fish up some fish in your garrison, and when you eat these ghost fish, you turn into the look of a pale orc. And when you pull, Cody, what's the big rock monster in Heimal? Anyway, when you pull him, and you got him, Tectus, thank you. When you have Tectus, you have the little pale orc that comes out. And they're actually, from a lot of theories are too, that Cho'Gall, in this timeline that we're working with now, is actually controlling the pale orcs and allowed himself to get caught so that he can take over Heimal from the inside out. And that is why you see all the pale orcs through there. So that's one theory with that. Now, the reason I brought this up is I'm trying to bring this back full circle to what we're experiencing now with the Legendary Quest line. So we got Killrogg, Grommash, and Gul'dan. And Gul'dan, of course, tells Grommash, hey, you tried to bring us glory. You let us down once again. But I'm going to find another follower. And he looks at Killrogg. We went into whether or not Killrogg actually did this on purpose or not, but Killrogg steps forward and drinks the blood of what we all think maybe is the blood of Manaroth that is left over. When the orcs that drink the blood of Manaroth, what they were doing is they were already being corrupted by the warlocks in their tribes already. They were already getting fell-tinged, but they never went 100% crazy. When they drank the blood of Manaroth, their skin turned green, their eyes turned red. Now, the eyes is a very important thing to remember here, because when their eyes were red, they were under control of Manaroth. When they broke that link, when they came to Azeroth, they lost the red color in the eyes. Showed up once again when Manaroth poisoned the well, and all the orcs started drinking from it again. And then finally died completely when the original Grommash killed Manaroth and broke that spell completely. So their eyes went back from not being red, but that green tinge always stayed with them. With Killrogg drinking this, though, never turned green. They showed him kind of turning green, or red, like he would be a Fel or Chaos Orc is another name for him. Then he kind of shows him turning green. And then when he stands up out of that green mist, he's neither. He's not green, he's not red, but he's gray. Now, nowhere can I find in lore of gray orcs that are naturally that color. We do have some clans out there that actually dyed their skins to get away from the green tinge so that they don't look, they could try to forget about their past. And I want to say the Shadow Moon clan was one of them that actually dyed their skins gray, and they were gray orcs, but they were not gray orcs like this. Also, those orcs also did not have spikes coming out of their backs. Yes, the blood of Manaroth would make you bigger. It would make you stronger.
Well, the spikes are warlock, right?
But these spikes that came out of Killrogg, they were actually out of his skin. They weren't the armor.
Oh.
They were coming out of his skin. This has never happened with that. Now, I have searched, Myth from our guild has searched, Panamon from my guild, which my brother-in-law has searched, and we all tried to figure out what the hell this is supposed to mean. Now, we know Manaroth is dead. If this was the blood of Manaroth, then we would assume that it would have done the same thing that all the other orcs that drank it, would have turned them green, okay? So we can't really think that this is, now some people say, well, what if that blood is old or something like that? I don't think it would have that much power left in it. Could it be Magtheridon? Now, it could be, but the way the Magtheridon's blood acts on them, it turns them red and gives them that, you know, that bloodlust that they have. Now, these are all pit lords that we've experienced throughout the lore. Other ones it could be, what about Asgalar? Asgalar was one that we found in Warcraft 3's final mission. We actually fight him in Mount Hyjal, if you guys remember that, in the Caverns of Time. Really, I see no reason it could be Asgalar. And then another one it could be is Brutalis. Now, this is the giant pit lord that doesn't have any wings. We fight him in Sunwell Plateau. Again, another possibility. He is more badass than Asgalar, in my opinion.
But what correlation would it have to the current timeline's lore when
Correct.
there's been there hasn't been any alludement to anything, right?
Right. Now, again, this is all tinfoil hat, but there's nothing that would show that it could be Brutalis, Asgalar.
So what if nobody's controlling him?
Well, there's still another pit lord out there that we haven't even seen in lore at all. And his name is Agonar. Everybody's going, well, who the hell is Agonar, right? Do you remember when you were in Hellfire Peninsula, you had a quest line where you had to go kill all these slimes and purify these ponds that was right near the orc area?
Mm-hmm.
And you had to kill them. That is called the Pool of Agonar. Now, he is a pit lord. He was in our timeline, he's dead. Okay? But from what I was looking into and what I see, another one on the forums by the name of Only Rogue was saying, is that if you notice where Agonar is located in Outlands, which was Hellfire Peninsula, where are we going to?
Hellfire Peninsula.
Hellfire Peninsula, a.k.a. Shenan's Jungle. Right.
Well,
It is the exact same spot that you would found it. Okay? Now, the person who resides at the Pool of Agonar in Outland is, like I said, is that pit lord that we've seen. You know, right now in Outland, there's this guy, but his name is Aruzius the Cruel. Now, he is supposedly the spawn of Agonar. Or, you know, they call them fell spawns. What we see, though, with Agonar and his fall in complete, you know, he's gone in Burning Crusade, the location of where he's at, the location of the pools of Agonar where he would have fallen, because you think, I mean, this guy's going to be bound to the area that he's at. I mean, it's his home.
but in this current, in the Draenor timeline, he would be alive, because we wouldn't have killed him in this timeline.
Maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
yeah, but, well, they think that they originally
Did we
think
kill
that
him in the old timeline
No,
before
he was
the
already dead
drinking
before we
happened?
got there. He was dead before we got there, which could have occurred when Khadgar went through the first time. You know, he could have went through. I mean, we do have the pit lords and things that we fight there right there at the beginning. But if you're making the initial assault coming through the portal, and he is the pit lord that's going to be controlling Hellfire Peninsula, you would think of him as like governors that a rolling army would set up. If he's that pit lord in that area, it could be that we killed him, but he was dead by Khadgar before we even got there. But everything where you match up the two maps of where Agonar would be, it looks like that's where we're going to.
You think
Makes
it'll be
sense.
explained? in the
I'm
next
hoping.
patch, or is this something that you're
No.
just going to have to study
think
up on the new lore books?
I think
that
this
come
is
out?
going to be one of those secret things that you won't find out for several expansions.
Well,
Put it.
Well, not several
I
expansions.
asked
No.
because
Patch.
remember entering into Draenor, you have that part with Kargath or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and the blood shooting onto the orc, and he goes berserk. You got to kill him, and then after that, you go into that little coliseum with all the
Oh, with Blade
crazed
Fist.
orcs, and you got to fight them.
Right. And what personally, the way I'm looking at it, and I don't know if I'm just drawing correlations in my own mind because of the tinfoil hats that I have been wearing, but is it that,
How many tinfoil hats have you been wearing today?
Right.
And do you buy them or do you make them?
About the
Wait,
the
that
amount
reminds
of
me-
it.
And exactly how old are you again? Just kidding.
That reminds me of Scary Movie 3 where they have the tinfoil hats, but they unwrap them, and it's like a huge Hershey's Kiss. He like breaks off the top.
I mass produce them and hide them here in the house. But the with this though, I mean, is it that Rathion knew where to head that direction, and knew about Agonar, and knew about the powers, and knew what he was able to do in the old timeline? And I mean, again, we still haven't found him.
Maybe he protected him or hid him or helped him realize. I don't even know. My mind's a little blown from that whole situation. Anyway, I never noticed that Killrogg was not fell-colored. It never occurred to me to pay attention.
It didn't for me either until I started researching the Pale Orcs, and I was just going to do it all on the Pale Orcs, and I originally had told you earlier this week that I was going to do that
But
on.
why do we feel like he's being controlled again? What is giving that impression? Is it
You
a
drink the blood
possibility?
or something.
When you drink the blood of a pit lord, you are under that pit lord's control.
Right, but maybe it was just fucking beer. We don't really know that it was the blood of something, do
Well,
we?
and there could be a time
wouldn't change them that way.
twist with the whole time-lapse raids that are going to be coming out in the next, or dungeons that are going to be coming out in the next thing.
Time Walker, it's not Time.
Whatever, you called it Time Warp last
But
week.
I,
It's not a mage, mofo.
But if you look at where that's coming from, and you're right, I mean, if everything that I'm looking back on this stuff going is, it kind of makes sense. Because, like I said, when you drink the blood of it, I mean, the only way that, Manaroth was able to control the orcs the way he did is he made them drink their blood.
right.
When he had the blood and that link was there, he had them under his thumb. When they came through and the dark portal was blown up the first time, and the orcs were separated away from Manaroth, they became very docile. They went back to their shamanistic ways. When Manaroth was able to reopen the portal, he was able to start sending forks. Boom, they started getting, they started drinking that blood again because they craved it because it was gone for so long. They drank the tainted waters. There they go again. And once they finally killed Manaroth in our timeline, they've gotten over that. They were able to go ahead, and as much as I get down on the Horde, they were so strong enough in character that they were able to pull themselves away from that.
Listen,
Eminent
have you ever had
power.
tequila? Because that feels like he was drinking tequila. That should have make you change too. Like,
So-
I mean, just throwing that out there, especially.
But the
for-
blood of any pit lord is the only thing that's ever made somebody change, like in that much power.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
talk about, and it's all beyond. It's all about that void energy, about that dark energy.
What if they're
Because
introducing something totally different that doesn't have anything to do with the blood of a pit lord?
But that's where my brother-in-law had also mentioned. Do you remember the dark or the lost ones? When we first came into, it was the Draenei that were left on Outland that turned into these like beastly,
Oh,
almost
yeah.
looked like the trees, the faces.
Yeah.
But they were the same color. They were that grayish color. They had devolved away from their original being because they were so corrupted and tainted by that fell energy.
Huh.
That they also went back into that grayish, that look. So I'm wondering if we're going to go into a whole new direction of where they're going to drive the orcs. I mean, we know Manaroth's dead, and we finish them off. If not, we finish them off here in Hellfire Peninsula. I'm not sure how they're actually going to tie him as a boss again. But where does that leave the Horde? Their natural racial thought is to want that power, whether it be good or bad.
Right.
But have that power. Right now, you've alienated an entire race of characters in the game with the Iron Horde. When this raid's over and this expansion over, what are they going to do? Stand there and twiddle their thumbs? No, they can't be just introduced into this expansion and just be washed away after the next one.
I mean, they can. It's Blizzard.
I mean, that's
Right.
And
Someone you
Grohl
thought was
a
dead
puppet.
will pop up. They're like, surprise, motherfucker.
But with
Yeah.
the Rathian conversation we had a couple weeks ago, they don't do anything by chance.
Well, my mind is blown. That was excellent. If you guys have any theories, comment on the video, comment on the Facebook, send like in an email. Let us know what your theories are. You guys have been doing a really good job of commenting on the YouTube and letting us know what your theories are. That's pretty massive. I feel like Lycan's digging into some secrets here that maybe we're not supposed to be digging into.
That made me think, and I was gonna, drag it out longer, not intentionally, but I kind of, he got the.
I could
Stop it.
hours.
Stop it, just stop it.
Yeah.
Poor Dark. He always gets the crap end of the stick. We do have a nice little section from Hots, who's going to be doing Hots in the hardcore casual. He's going to be talking about making the most, not basting, because that's a whole other show. I don't know if I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner, so I feel like I'm just kind
Podcast
of...
after hours? Like,
feel like I'm just hungry and want to baste a turkey. He's going to be talking about making the most.
you're going to give Lycan a heart attack. Look at this.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Hot.
He's getting
Thursdays
trolled.
I'm
at 4.
I'm going to die for real.
Basting the most.
Basting with Hot.
Making the most of yourself, Hots, is we're going to go ahead and let him take it away.
So I've got to thinking about it. I've had a few discussions with a lot of my elitist friends. People who think highly of themselves, or not think highly of themselves, expect a lot of themselves. I should
No,
say.
they think highly of themselves.
No, yeah,
just made
You
up
hit
a
the nail
word.
on the head. Let's not
Yeah,
sugarcoat
okay.
it. They know who
So-
they are, and they know exactly how they are. We don't have to sugarcoat.
Yeah. Okay, I mean that's fair. I caught myself. I'm brand new to Rogue. I'm not brand new to the concept of SAP, but I'm new to Rogue, and I was looking up all these people, and I was like, I can understand why they're using this stuff, and then I kind of thought about it, and I was like, well, a lot of people don't realize why they're using it. They just see that they're using these things, and they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna use that talent because so and so's using it. If people are looking up, warrior lessons, they're gonna look for Bajira, they're gonna look up Smithy. They're gonna look up all these well-known warriors, and they're gonna say, I'm gonna use that because they're using it. Well, they don't necessarily realize why. So what I was gonna talk about today is whenever you're picking your talents and you're picking your rotation, rotation's a little bit different because there is a set rotation that is actually best, and you should try to follow that. But you also need to realize with cooldowns, it 100% goes with playstyle and your raid's playstyle. If you're picking rotations that are burst oriented, if your team doesn't burst at the very start of it and you get the maximum use of those cooldowns, or say your strategy is you start here and then you end up moving a lot during the start, you don't get the most out of those burst cooldowns. You need to figure out what cooldowns work the best for you. Blizzard's done a really good job of making situational cooldowns, and a lot of people haven't realized that. They just stick with one set of cooldowns and one set of talents. And that's not what Blizzard's wanted so far, especially after they introduced the newer talent trees. So you need to kind of figure out, like Belle has said before, I've heard her ranting about, is she has cooldowns that help her survive, and she has cooldowns that help her DPS. Well, if you find that you're dying a lot, that DPS do no DPS. So you need to go with better survival cooldowns so you can maintain DPS, because you're not dying. But if your team is having troubles in the DPS department, then you probably need to swap to the better DPS side. Also, you need to kind of figure out what abilities you're not using that could help your raid. I've seen a lot of raiding with riders every once in a while. I see hunters using aspect of the fox, aspect of the fox at random points. It's never discussed. It's never this, that, the other. But I'm like, oh man, that'd have been awesome. And like 3 seconds where I'm about to have to be running across the room with the entire raid, and all the casters continue to DPS. But they pop it so they can continue casting their stuff, and I'm like, so try to look at everything and figure out the better time to use everything. Don't just pop
Be
cooldowns.
beneficial to everyone, not just you.
Want to use your cooldowns exactly. another thing, water walking, not efficient in raids. Really good in PvP whenever you have to run across water with your raid. Just look into your spellbook and dig through all the abilities that you haven't been using. Also look into your talents and figure out what's best for you, not what's best because it's the best. And that's pretty much all I have this week. I plan on going into
that.
I plan on going into specific classes later on. I just had a really busy week this week, so I couldn't break down each individual class.
For those of you that are wondering what he's talking about, we talk very openly about how we are not elitists. We're just not who we are. We're not pros. We're regular. We the same, just like you guys are. We want to try hard and we want to do things, but we don't want to do it at the expense of our attitude. So what HOTS wants to do is make those that are not the elitists and that are not the pros have an easier time with their rating or their PvP or things that they need to do for improvement so that you can be a hardcore casual without having to have the elitist aspect of it. So I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that he's going to bring for that.
Y'all casuals try to bring me down.
Hey, you're not a raider anymore. You're not elite.
I have quit raiding for quite some time now. It's blown a few people's minds that's heard about it. But to be fair, I did get a lot accomplished especially at the beginning of this quarter, or not quarter, X-Pack. So I'm tempted to go back into it as soon as Hellfire Citadel drops. I'm fighting tooth and nail to not, because it's kind of nice taking a step back and not having a schedule that's 5 nights a week, just dedicated to beating your face at your desk, aka wiping on raid bosses.
Well, we're not going to talk about that. But that was lovely. We did have something from Priza this week, and of course, the weather has prevailed, so we're going to save that for you guys for next week. So, with all that, you guys got a lot of stuff this episode. There was a lot of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and switch gears, and we are going to make fun of Lycan for being old some more. But in addition to that, we are going to, he's really not old, to be honest.
He fell out of his chair.
We're in the same.
I'm falling, but I can't get up.
We're in the same age bracket, so I'm kind of talking crap, and really, it's awful because
you'll be there soon.
I'm on my way to adult diapers.
We need to get Nate one of those necklaces with the emergency.
You mean Lycan?
Lycan.
Okay, he used my real name earlier.
Yeah, he did. That was payback. But no, with that emergency button for when he falls.
Yes,
he can't get up.
Actually, that's pretty valid.
Just on Skype, doesn't even call 911.
But let's talk about what we did this week. Wow, Lycan, what did you do this week?
Well, first I'd like to start giving out personal cell phone numbers for the other 3 people on the podcast tonight. You can get a hold of HOTS by either HOTS1796 or his cell phone number beginning with 3. No, we're not even going to go there. What did I do? I actually had to do the same thing you did, HOTS, is take a look at actually what I was doing. I noticed myself getting very cranky throughout the week, and it's been leading up to this point, and I needed to take a step back. It was RBGs every week, and raiding every week, and this every week, and make sure you get all these, characters done. And I made the mistake of actually letting the game run me, and I lost what it was like to play the game. Excuse me one second. Play the game this week, and it's amazing. I don't know if it was because I realized that the other day I said, man, in 2 years I'm going to be 40, which really kind of scared me, or if it was just that it became more of a chore than it was fun anymore. I did raid. I got to do a little bit of raid on my hunter, even though I failed miserably at it.
It's rough going from a DPS, so I didn't fall for that.
I died a couple times.
I look over and he's dead. I look over again, next pull, he's dead. I look over again, next pull, he's dead. I'm like, well, at least he
And then the one time I died, I got thrown back into one of the bombs on Imperator, but I had made sure I disengaged, so everybody else not disengaged, but deterred. So everybody else took damage, but not me.
That was kind of him.
Yeah.
Nice.
RBG's doing pretty good. Actually, I'm enjoying my games of Hearthstone. I sit there on my hunter and just play Hearthstone while I'm defending the bases.
Deal with it right now.
I'm really good at Hearthstone. Other than that, I leveled my Shadow Priest up to level 100. Got tired of getting my ass kicked by Shadow Priest, and I'm going
You
to
could
try
totally
it out.
plug your add-on
You
right
know,
now.
Well, I'm not going to go. I
Not
was
ready for that.
trying
He
a new
needs some
add-on.
research.
Yeah, but as from the 90 to 100, I am testing a new add-on that let me level very quickly. It's kind of like the one guide. I'm not going to mention the name just because I'm not giving them publicity that you pay for, which I do not support at
Those
all.
stupid people spam the Facebook
Yep.
groups.
From 90 to 100 was epic leveling that fast. I'm going to try from 1 to 100 and see how fast it goes. So keep your eyes open for that. That should be interesting to see.
It's not a bot. We don't deal with bots.
No,
So we don't deal with anything.
It-
Nothing
nope.
It
automated.
prioritizes quests.
Yep, you skip over quests. You go, okay, here. It tells you, go
And
here.
this is from a
take 5
fast
points.
leveling aspect. If you're interested in
Right.
progressing through content, you probably
No.
don't want to do any of
No.
that. After the 3rd or 4th alt, there's nothing to progress through. You've seen all that shit. Really move along. It's time to go. So,
Right.
No need to still watch the cutscenes, okay?
well, I do like the cutscenes though. But
I like the one where Marad dies, only because that battle res, that chick pops up.
you're all.
That was sick.
Alrighty, Hots, what'd you do this week in game?
Well, I went to, I was going to Lycan's Garrison, and I got into a duel in front of his garrison. Apparently made too much ruckus, and I had him coming out going, "Get off my garrison, run!" Other than that, no,
He is old as
so,
Moses. In case you don't know who Moses is, 10 Commandments, people. You don't have to be religious to know about the 10 Commandments. He knows
Yep.
Moses. They were BFFs.
After
I got-
tonight's show, Ponecast may actually be looking for a new host.
I got put in my place this week. I did some higher rated RBGs than I was expecting to. I got pulled in by one of my friends, and they were like, "Hey, we need a rogue," and I was like, "Awesome, I can rogue good." No, I thought I could rogue good, and then I'm like, "Hey, these people can outplay me because they've been doing this for a long time. I just started these, and I started getting to the point where I was like, "Hey, what should I be doing?" And they're like, "Just do things. Go do rogue stuff." I'm like, "Okay, I can do rogue stuff good." But then I get to a map that I've only played like once or twice. Now I'm playing against a 2K rated team, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. They're like, "Just be annoying," and I was like, "Okay." I ran around and sapped and did a little bit of damage here and there, and had fun. And we ended up barely winning because it clicked that I can carry the cart. So I went and grabbed a cart and just ran around as my team killed their cart carrier, capped it, and then capped 2 bases, and we ended up winning. And I was just running around doing nothing. Like I think
Whatever
I'm
secret rogue
a
things you
healer
do.
beat me in DPS. Yeah, I think a healer beat me in DPS. But
Nice.
it kind of opened my eyes to like
Well, you
I
know
might
what?
be at least in the PvE world, but PvP,
It's room for growth, but that just goes to show you when somebody comes up to me and introduces me to so-and-so and says they're over 2K RBG rated, you want me to tell you why I don't give a fuck you're over 2K RBG rated? Because you have 9 other people that are giving you that rating.
Right.
Oh yeah.
What
100%.
matters to me is 3s because there's more accountability per player because there's only 3 people. But if you come to me and you're like, "Oh, I'm 2K RBGs," I don't care what you are. You have 9 other people getting you to glory. To me, that doesn't make you anything unless I've seen you play or I've played with you. But it's all a learning curve. I mean, we're still learning. We're not on 2K level yet, but one day.
I'm just over 1,600 on my RBG team, and I may have a 1,600 rating, but I defend them bases, and that's about that.
I do my damn job.
It's like a 3K raider.
Yesterday, Lycan and who was the other one? Aaron.
Miss Wendy.
Yeah, Miss Wendy. They had 0 healing, 0 damage, but we won.
I mean, that's
Humility was probably needed for you, though. That was probably a good thing. It's nice to have to learn things. Yeah. Nobody wants to be good at everything all the time because then what's the point? It's nice to have to force yourself outside of the norm box and push yourself to do better. That's pretty exciting.
It definitely gave me an idea of what I need to work on
for sure.
To actually push myself. So
for sure. Dark, what'd you do? Well, I mean, I know what you do all week, but what did you do this week in WoW?
Bubble amazing.
I asked my wife for gold. Just kidding.
I'm talking.
No, I did some carries with Miss Wendy on his mage because the Windwalker's not doing enough damage for our RBG team. So
nice calling him out there. You're solid.
Hi.
What? It's true. Anyway, so I was
Sorry, Wendy.
I was carrying. He knows. He said it himself today, actually. So he used Fire Mage, which I know nothing about Fire Mages. I only did Frost in MLP for PvP. So currently, Fire Mages scare the shit out of me. They seem to hurt more than Frost when played right. But yeah, pretty much just been doing carries, doing twos with the Fire Mage, and he asked before you asked.
I haven't carried my Mistweaver either.
No,
so.
I know.
He asked before you were 100.
Can you imagine Ret Pally, Mistweaver, Shadow Priest? That would be a pretty good matchup.
Issues with Shadow Priest and
Yeah, except
so.
Wait.
Yeah, that would be a good mix-up.
It feels like it's unfair, but I'm not going to talk about that because I'm just going to alienate everybody that's rolled a Shadow Priest this expansion because they want it to be top of the charts. While I just make sure I stick to my Destro. Doesn't matter if she's good, bad, or indifferent. I still stick to her. I'm not one of the bandwagoners that hop to the boat and go with.
To be fair,
don't even get me
you
started.
can't just swap to a Shadow Priest and expect to be top DPS.
I'm not even
You
gonna
can
go
do
there.
a rotation, but
No.
dot weaving is there is no way to practice.
I'm not
dot
going to go into that
weaving.
because I'm going to piss people off. So we're just not going to talk about Shadow Priest at all. I'm going to glaze right over that subject, and we're just going to
My
go.
Priest is one of my original tunes. I think that's why I went back to him. And
I'm gonna say AOE damage first, and then I'm gonna finish out my story. There is one thing
There was
that
more
I
to
will.
that story?
Yes.
Oh.
That I will brag about that Miss Wendy pointed out.
It's Windy. Just call him Windy. It's creepy because you
It's
say
not
Miss.
Wendy.
It's a boy. Windy.
It's windy.
That's what I said. Don't correct me.
Don't interrupt me.
Whoa.
You're off my show. No, he pointed out that I always wreck other rep pallies. And each rep pally we would go against, I would wreck them in like 5 seconds. And it kind of made me realize what I said at the end of the last episode I was on with you guys about studying your weaknesses. Don't let your own spec and class be your weakness. You should know that class better than anybody, and that was pathetic. That most of them I would wreck like literally within 5 seconds and they're dead.
I have a question.
If you don't know your class good enough to beat your own class, or at least give it a good fight, you need to reevaluate your situation.
That's fair.
Did you sprain your arm as you were tapping yourself on the back?
I know. I'm a little.
No,
disgusted.
that turned into.
I'm apologizing to those of you listening.
Hey, you're pretty
and
flexible doing that at that age.
I'm a little.
Lycan.
I'm a little disgusted by what's happening, and I apologize to you guys.
I feel like I rubbed off on him.
Which will lead me to I do have some funny stuff.
Did you catch that word that you made up earlier?
Hi, I was talking.
Eliterist?
Hi.
Elite leader? Elitist? No? Yeah? Sorry. Go ahead.
Are we done? Good.
Wow.
So, am I free? I told you guys it was going to be a rough evening. It always is when Dark is on because he just talks right over people.
Still trying to find a soul.
He's still looking for that. But my outside of his braggadociousness that was just happening, my week in WoW, I did watch some of I have been streaming the RBGs. I did watch the old RBGs, the old stream from last week to kind of learn some of my mistakes as Destruction Warlock. Keep in mind that in doing RBGs, there's not a lot of videos I can watch. There's not a lot of people I can go to. There's not a lot of things that I can do for Destruction outside of learn it myself. Because there isn't a lot of people that are doing Destruction. There's a few of us rebels that are running around in RBGs, but the majority is Affliction with some, demonology sprinkled in there. So playing it back, recording it, and then playing it back actually allowed me to be able to see from my perspective the things that I'm doing wrong so that I can improve them. Obviously, one of those things was placement. So if you're somebody like me who's struggling with a class that isn't the most popular spec in PvP or even PvE, record yourself and play it back. That's going to be a good testament to how you fix it. I did notice that my placement, my nature is to want to jump in the middle of everything that's going on, and I'm getting wrecked because I'm just trying to get right in there and do stuff when I need to be placing myself outside. I did spend the whole RBG session yesterday making that a point, checking myself to make sure that my placement was where it needed to be, and I improved my damage by 3-4 million because I was able to stay alive and focus. So that was pretty lovely. The raid went really, really, really rough on Friday. We're still trying to down Heroic Imperator. Keep in mind that we are not You know, we're not the top tier of rating. We have issues with people showing up for the raid on a consistent basis, which I'm actually going to put this out to you. We do want to start into Mythic raiding. We are looking for some dedicated players who can raid Friday and Sunday evenings, Eastern time, a little bit on the later side because most of us have kids. We are looking for people to join the Mythic team. Now, originally I was not going to go outside and recruit for people to come to the guild to begin Mythic. But unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's a real good idea on paper for a lot of people, and then they decide that they can't really give it that good, solid effort that you need for Mythic. So keep in mind we're just in High Mall, but if you're interested in joining the team, you want to try out for Mythic, even though we are in High Mall, once we've gotten the hang of some Mythic tiers content, we'll be able to, in the future, start progression right when new content's being released, so we can kind of be on point with everybody else. But if you're looking for a guild, we are Alliance side, we are on Argent Dawn. If you want to roll a tune, level 1, just to kind of see what's going on over there and see if you like it, we are looking for people specifically. We don't really need any more melee, to be perfectly honest. We definitely don't need any more melee. We are looking for some casters, magic damage. No more hunters, please. If you're a hunter, don't bother, just because we literally have 4 hunters, so we're good. Or if you're heals, we always use extra heals. But if you're looking for a home and you want to raid and maybe your guild's not raiding or maybe you're not even in a guild, we do want to start Mythic content, and we are looking. So get a hold of me on the Facebook page or send me an email. We would really, really appreciate that. I told everybody I was going to do that. So last thing I want to talk about is on TeamSpeak yesterday. So what we started doing is we get out and I tell everybody, okay, I want each person to output in instance chat what you think the problem is. Why did you die? Why did you die? Why didn't you move? I want everybody's perspective on what they think happened instead of one person saying this is the problem. So in doing this, 2 of our guildies and our marshals, which was Aja and Shavi, these 2 proceed to tell me via TeamSpeak that their push to talk is hindering their heals in a raid. So I am hysterical at this point, literally. Absolutely hysterical that that's even being said, because I feel like it's a cop-out. So...
Look at Hot's face right now.
I must have missed. This must have been when I was restarting.
So I'm dying. Literally. I'm like, quit, stop it. Quit trying to say that that's the thing. Like, I'm literally like, get the fuck off TeamSpeak. I can't even deal with you guys. Supposedly, the push of a button is stopping their heals because they're having to click the button and not focus on here's the thing. I DPS, and I still DPS while I'm pushing the button. I don't have a problem with that. Tiergan, he did make a good point about being sidetracked with other things. If the healers are doing call-outs and stuff on TeamSpeak that they're sidetracked, that makes sense, but please do not tell me that you're suffering 3-4 million less in heals because you're
watching a health bar. You're watching a group of health bars.
To be fair, the 2 healers that I'm speaking of, they do some call-outs. However, please do not tell me that we're having a heals problem because you are clicking the push to talk. I can't even deal. All the guilds watching this right now, and they're like, she went there. I knew she was going to go there.
Oh, my God.
Does anybody else have that problem when you're using a voice server? And, I mean, do the healers out there feel like that's a real thing? I
have had the same keybind for 10 years. For 10 years, I've had the exact same keybind. Tanking, healing, DPSing. We'll even break down melee DPSing, caster DPS. Anything I've ever done in my entire life, it has been the same exact keybind. You know how many times it passed me over?
Hate it.
You what?
I hate TeamSpeak because, like, I'll get used to it within, like, 20 minutes, right? Say I'll be on TeamSpeak for, like, an hour. I'll get back on Skype, and...
You're pushing the button?
The button becomes so easy, and it kind of becomes part of what you're doing.
Here's my button for pushing.
I do it on Skype, like, not knowing, and I'm like, shit, I'm not on TeamSpeak anymore.
See this button? This is my button for push to talk. It's not key bound to anything else. It's strictly my push to talk button. It's right here where my thumb is for clicking, so it's literally... set this, I literally, shit you not, I shut the whole raid down because I couldn't even move on until I had gotten over what was being said to me in TeamSpeak. It was hilarious.
Mine is my left pinky, and I've actually used that. I've had to use my right hand before. I've been in shit situations, and I kid you not, that I've taken my left foot and threw it up onto my keyboard so I couldn't stop tanking and
shit
moving.
situations, because that's crappy.
And I literally go like this, and I'm hitting the key to say, hold on, I can't stop moving, I'll talk to you in a second, and I move my foot.
That's hilarious.
It's never...
No, that's a good point, because in like healers and stuff, they don't really use the tab target. So tab could easily be that new button.
Here's what we did. So the next poll, here's what we ultimately decided. We're not going to do callouts anymore. Old school, you didn't do callouts. You figured that shit out on your own. If you didn't, you didn't raid. So we decided next poll, we were going to do callouts. We were going to tell you when to move. You have DBM just like I do. I shouldn't have to tell you to freaking move every time you need to freaking move.
I'll make you fucking elitist, dude.
So we didn't do callouts. So then right after, of course, we didn't down in, but everybody did what they were supposed to do. For the most part, there's still some mechanic issues, but it's on an individual basis. These guys just need to work it out. It's going to be fine. We're going to make it through it. We're doing it as a team. Sometimes it just is what it is. So afterwards, Shavi's like, oh, my healing was this much more because I didn't do call. And I'm just like, that just tells me that this whole time you've been lazy and you have not been healing like you're supposed to. I feel like that's the
Or just spamming holy nuts.
So everyone did better not being able to do the callouts?
I can't even deal with
It was a thing at one point. It was legit a thing at one point, but
that's an inside joke, folks. I can't even. I can't go on. I told the guildies that I was going to be making reference to that. It is all in good fun. I'm sure that doing callouts does hinder certain abilities because it did have when I had to do callouts, it did affect my DPS because I wasn't focused enough. But I also sometimes don't have the ability to multitask when I'm one goal. So sometimes it's not really good for me to do callouts if I'm just learning. Once I've got stuff on muscle memory, I can do callouts all day long in DPS. It's just getting myself Imperator because we didn't spend a lot of time on him, and because we've always just kind of skipped over him. We went and moved and did other things, and in normal we skipped over him because we didn't want to deal with it in normal, and now we're kind of not reaping the benefits of that whatsoever. So my week has just been trying to get everybody in line with Mythic so that we can down Imperator and then begin Mythic. It's likely that once we're in Mythic High Mall, we might skip over Foundry when Hellfire comes out so that we can start right in Hellfire for current content and then go back to Foundry so we can finish out those achievements. We're not really sure. I hate Blackrock Foundry with a passion. So,
did you not do arenas on your healer?
I did. Zarth did carry me in twos, which here's how it went. Ah! I'm dead. That's how it went. My first 3 arenas, I was literally my face was sweating, my heart is racing, and we're on Skype, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have a panic attack. I'm not ready for this. I'm not a healer. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. And he's like, you're gonna be fine. I got you. So it was a lot of him 2v1ing. But I am checking out. I do have skill capped. Been looking, reading, watching a lot of their videos. They broke down the videos really, really nicely, actually. CCs, defensive, all these different things they broke it down into. I'm quite good as a healer. But with all things, it's things you have to learn. I'm not going to be amazing right out of the box. I'm really going to have to get in there and do it on the battlegrounds. I'm really going to have to put myself in there to do it. But I did get carried. I've been running Ashran. I'm getting to the point where I enjoy monk healing way more than I did druid healing. I do enjoy the versatility of being able to kill stuff. I like fist weaving. I think that's fun. And I enjoy it. So I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to be swapping out the lock for the main team for the monk heals, which, I mean, that's fine. But before I end my week in WoW, I did want to give a shout out to Soiled Myself and Juicy Juicy.
Wow.
Soiled Myself and Juicy Juicy. There's actually quite a few that came to the guild this week. They are listeners, and I didn't write down everybody, and I do apologize for that. But I wanted to make sure I made a shout out to them. Soiled Myself is also from the World of Warlocks Facebook group as well, but he also does watch the podcast. He did come to the guild to come hang out, which it's nice to have more warlocks. He's all about destruction, so that makes me super happy. But other than that, the guild stuff is going really, really well. We've done a lot of successful, fun stuff with the guild, which has been great. And we're just prepping for BlizzCon. I'm so ready. I mean, my bags are packed. Can we go now? Are we there yet? Can we?
I'm already there.
Need to give Potts a little more time because, again, I am going to be sleeping with the man for a couple of days, so.
Well, don't worry.
Also, Lycan needs more time. He's waiting for his AARP
Here's
card.
the thing. Hots will be here. Hots will be here before BlizzCon, so I'll make sure he gets all his good cleaning habits because I'm a germ freak. So when he's here, you don't got to worry about that.
Get him on that treadmill for me.
Buddy. That's all.
Oh, what? Like, this is the most weight I have right here. I'm holding him. Like.
The awkward moment when the cat's like, "Meow."
Whoa. Okay, I'm good.
So with that, what a great show it was. I'm really sad that we were down Frieza, but really, really glad that we could bring Dark in to annoy me the entire episode, which is always a good thing. He's lucky he's pretty, and he's lucky that he has a lot of knowledge where PvP's concerned. Otherwise, we would not get along like we do.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, it was pretty clear what it meant.
Oh, okay.
Pretty obvious.
I sit here in our corners very quietly and stay out of the spousal fight, so.
Yeah.
I troll her in guild chat. She'll say something, and most of the people in our guild, they don't. Not all of them have been on Skype with us and whatnot, so they're like, "Wow, you're a brave man."
Have that kind of.
And then they'll get on Skype with us and they'll see our relationship. They're like, "That's pretty damn cool."
We're just friends.
So.
Like we have that friendship, even though it's a marriage. But we can joke around and we're never serious. Literally.
I just thought of another reason you should come to the guild, so I can tell you my story about the little piece of cereal who could.
Oh my God. That was
With
the
that,
best
we are
thing
actually
ever.
16 minutes
Wow.
over.
Yeah.
We're way over time, so we did not have good time management this episode. That's okay, though. Every once in a while, it's nice to have a longer episode. We had a great episode. We're celebrating Lycan in his newfound senior citizen status.
I'm going to mess up your whole stream by hitting end call.
As soon as you are of age, I am putting you in a home.
Good night, folks.
Do you wear adult diapers? Well, that depends. Okay, I'm done. I swear I'm done. Lycan, come back. I'm done. For those of you that are listening, not watching the show, Lycan did get up and leave because apparently the struggle's real with the age. But he, if he would put his beard back and stop shaving it, he would look more regal than he kind of looks like an 18-year-old with no facial hair. I don't really know where Lycan went, so I'm kind of awkwardly stammering.
He's chilling.
You're just going to see his finger go through the window. Well, we did have a really, really great episode. If you want to get a hold of Lycan and talk about lore, email him at lycan@ponecast.net. You can also go to facebook.com/Ponecast. If you need to get a hold of Hots, you can get a hold of him at Hots for Shots.
Anything.
Pretty much anywhere. He's like me. He's kind of all over the place, but it all has Hots for Shots in there. If you need to get a hold of Dark, you could actually see Dark on facebook.com/Ponecast because he is an admin. And if you need to get a hold of me, you guys already know where I be. I'm all over Azeroth.
She runs hell. So
apparently I do. But we did have a really great episode. Thank you. Make sure you guys comment on the video and wish Lycan a happy birthday. We kind of gave him a lot of crap this episode, so he's definitely going to need some likes and happy birthday shout outs to recover from the bullshit that we put him through.
And some Ben Gay.
That's so terrible. Terrible. We are terrible.
To think I was actually going to come back to my desk. Right, folks.
We are going to get out of here. We have RBGs, and we are going to say goodbye. Don't forget to go to PwnecastDailyQuest.com to get all of your news. We just put up a brand new Warrior DPS guide up there, so make sure you guys check that out. And I'm working on my PvP Destruction Warlock guide as well. So we will see you next week. Thank you for spending your week with us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. What about Lycan? Are you going to say bye to them? No, they're not getting a bye.
Bye. Oh, I was like, yeah.
You fell out of the water.